Dear students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. This module, Introduction to Bayesian Theory, is in continuation of the previous module, Introduction to Probability Theory, Introduction to Additive and Multiplicative Properties of Probability Theory. In this module, we will discuss how to find out posterior probability. In our previous module, we already discussed about sample space, experiments, probabilities theory for condition and also conditional probability. We also discuss axioms of probability. All these properties and theorems are necessary to find out posterior probability or posterior probabilities. Now in this module we will discuss total probability theorem and as well as Bayesian theorem. Now we start our module. Let's get started. To find out the probability of an event, given that external information related to that event is already available, then events must be related to each other. Conditional probability concept is very helpful to solve this type of problem. To solve these problems, the most commonly used method that is available in the literature is Bayesian theorem. Let us consider there are two bags, 1 and 2. Bag 1 contain 3 blue marbles and 4 green marbles, and bag 2 contains 5 white marbles and 2 red marbles. One marble is drawn randomly from one of the two bags. The probability of selecting a bag is half. The probability of randomly drawing a blue marble from bag 1 is 3 upon 7. Probability of randomly drawn a green marble from bag 1 is 4 upon 7. Probability of randomly drawn white marble from bag 2 is 5 upon 7. And probability of randomly drawing a red marble from bag 2 is 2 upon 7. One bag is chosen at random and one marble is drawn at random from it. Now the probability of drawing a red color marble from second bag is available. If we are interested in drawing a marble from a bag 2, given that color of the marble drawn is red, then we have to consider many things. So in this module we will discuss how you have to evaluate this type of probabilities. So from above example, one can observe that problem has some basic information given in terms of probabilities. Basic information is used to find conditional probabilities as a new information, and this new information is used to find basic information in the new form. In this example, basic information given in terms of random selection of bag and marbles. New information as the probability of drawn marble is red, given the selected bag is 2, and a new form of basic information is the probability of red marble comes from a bag 2, given that the marble is red. These types of problems solving technique or method was given by famous mathematician named as Thomas Bayes. In 1763, the formula developed by Bayes for the solution of reverse probability is known as Bayes theorem. Bayes theorem is used to find the probability of reverse probability of the event with respect to additional information. Bayes theorem has wide application area. The most specific application area is the backbone of statistics, that is statistical inference and Bayesian inference. So we will discuss here some preliminary results that are useful to understand the concept in depth. Some preliminary results will be discussed here. These results are very helpful to understand Bayes theorem as well as its application part. Partition of sample space. Sample space is a set of all possible outcomes of a random experiment. Sample space is mostly represented by a capital S symbol. Suppose a random experiment is conducted for selecting a bag out of two bags denoted as 1 and 2 respectively. These bags contain marbles of different colors. Then the sample space is given as S, which is equal to 1 and 2, and if we have two outcomes E and F, and E represents for bag 1 and F for bag 2, then E is equal to 1 and F is equal to 2. This sample space S can be divided into two partitions E and F. Partition E and F jointly represents whole sample space if it is mutually exclusive, as well as exhaustive and non-negative. Similarly, if a sample space S can be partitioned into n outcomes, these outcomes are called events. These events represents the partition of the sample space or jointly represent whole sample space if the partition event is exhaustive, mutually exclusive and non-negative. Now we will discuss here some mathematical representation of the partition of sample space. Suppose E1, E2, so on En are n events of a random experiment. Sample space is given by the notation S is equal to bracket E1, E2 and En, so on. Events are partition events of sample space if they are first is exhaustive. It means if you take union of all the events, it must be equal to sample space. So if you take union of E1, union of E2 and so on, union of En, then it will be coming out to be capital S, then the events are called exhaustive. Second is mutually exclusive. It means intersection of two events is equal to phi. So if you have Ej intersection Ek is equal to phi for all j and k, and j is not equal to k. So third one is non-activity. Probability of Ej which is greater than equal to 0 for all j vary from 1 to n. Now we have a Venn diagram in which we have shown a event that can be overlap over the E1, E2, En events. So here we can see that a event is represented through purple symbol, and we have E1, E2, E3 and E4 have are exhaustive and mutually exclusive events. So hence we can say that E1, E2, E3 and E4 are the partition of the sample space. From figure 1 we can see that event A is represented through the mutually exclusive and exhaustive events EI. These events are part of the partition events of sample space capital S. One can also observe that events EI, where I vary from 1 to 4, jointly represent the whole sample space. Hence any event can be represented through EI events due to its mutually exclusive exhaustive property as well as non-negative property. So first is theorem of total probability. E1, E2, En are the partition events and hence non-zero probability of happening. The probability of happening an event A is associated with EI, where I vary from 1 to n, and probability of A is equal to probability of EI into probability of A given EI plus probability of E2 into probability of A given E2 plus so on probability of En into probability of A given En. This is known as theorem of total probability. So here we give you the proof of this theorem. So basically we're trying to discuss here that how you will get this result by using the property of conditional probability and the properties that we already discussed in our previous modules. So as EI are mutually exclusive and exhaustive events, so any event belong to the sample space can be represented in terms of these events. Hence A is equal to E1 intersection A plus union E2 intersection A union En intersection A. That we can see this term from the Venn diagram, that how we can write A in terms of E1, E2, En events. Also if A events does not belong to some EI, then intersection will be empty if A intersection Ek is equal to phi for some k, as event ei are the partition events, then there must be some events that has non-empty intersection with the event a. So a intersection ej, which is not equal to phi for j not equal to k. Now take probability on both sides of 1. We get probability of a is equal to probability of probability of e1 intersection a plus probability of e2 intersection a, and so on, probability of en intersection a. As EIs are mutually exclusive events, so the intersection between partition events are always empty. Hence the other terms will vanish in the above formula. Now from the definition of conditional probability, we know that probability of A given E1 is equal to probability of A intersection E1 divided by probability of E1. So this results come from the basic definition of conditional probability. Now we can write it down as probability of A intersection E1 is equal to probability of E1 and probability of A given E1. Now put the conditional form in equation 2. We will get probability of A is equal to probability of E1 into probability of A given E1, probability of E2 and probability of A given E2 plus probability of En into probability of A given En. So hence we prove the result that how, using the theorem of conditional probability of result of conditional probability, how you can derive the result for total probability theorem. Now we use the result of total probability in these examples so that you can easily understand that how we have to apply the result in practical life. The probability of becoming a data scientist of 3% that, and these are A, B and C, are given as 0.4, 0.37 and 0.87 respectively. The probability of getting bonus scheme will be introduced if A, B and C becomes data scientist, and these are given as in terms of probability as 0.33, 0.7 and 0.57 respectively. What is the probability that bonus scheme will be introduced? So answer to this question is, let E, F and G denote the events that A, B and C become data scientists respectively, and X denotes the event that bonus scheme introduce here. So E, F and G are partition events because they are exhaustive, mutually exclusive and non-negative. In other words, if A will become data scientist, that has no relationship with whether B or C will become data scientist. Similarly, if B will become data scientist, that has no relationship whether A or C will become data scientist. Also C has no relationship with A or B qualification for becoming data scientist. So probabilities are given as probability of E is equal to 0.4 and probability of F is equal to 0.37 and probability of G is equal to 0.87. As bonus will only be paid if that person will be data scientist. So being a data scientist is a condition for getting a bonus scheme. Hence the probability of introducing bonus scheme given that E, F and G become data scientists is given as probability of X given E is equal to 0.33, probability of X given F is equal to 0.7, probability of X given G is equal to 0.57. So the probability of introducing the bonus scheme by using total probability theorem is given by using the formula, that is probability of X is equal to probability of E into probability of X given E plus probability of F into probability of X given F plus probability of G into probability of X given G. And so after putting the value that we have, so we can solve the value of probability of X, and it's coming out to be 0.8869. So probability of the bonus scheme will be introduced is 0.8869. Hence we can see that probability is very high. This means that if all three, that is A, B and C, will become data scientists, then the chances are very high for introducing a bonus scheme. Now we will discuss another example here, that is a letter come either from Prayog or Kerala. On the paper just two consecutive letters RA appears. What is the probability that two consecutive letters visible on the paper is RA? Suppose E and F, two events. Event E denotes the even letter comes from Prayog, and F denotes the event letter come from the Kerala. Event X denotes the event 2 consecutive letter is visible on paper as RA. Find the probability of X by using theorem of total probability. E and F events are exhaustive, mutually exclusive and non-negative. E and F are partition events of X. Hence the probabilities are given as probability of E is equal to probability of F is equal to half. As latter come from above two words are equally likely. So probability of X given F is equal to 1 by 5 and probability of X given E is equal to 1 by 5. So using the theorem of total probability for two events, the formula for the event X is given as probability of X, which is equal to probability of E here, and probability of X given E plus probability of F into probability of X given F. So probability of X is equal to 1 by 5 into half plus 1 by 5 into half, which is coming out to be 2 by 10 and which is equal to 0.2. Hence the probability that two consecutive letter RA visible on paper is 0.2. So probability is very low here because we can see that it is just 20% and the chances are very low. So now we have another example of a computer disk. A computer disk manufacturer company produces computer disk. Let us consider three computer disk manufacturers are Western Digital, Seagate Technology and G Technology. Suppose Western Digital produce 60% of disks in which 25% are defective. Seagate Technology produces 40% disks of which 0.06% are defective and G Technology produces 25% disks of which 0.5% are defective. Find the probability that disk is defective. Let us consider E, F and G as three events. Event E denotes Western Digital produces computer disk, F even denotes Seagate Technology produces computer disk and G denotes the G Technologies produces computer disk. X is an event that takes account of only those defective computer disks that is produced by these three companies. All of the manufacturers produce some defective computer disks. So to find out the probability that defective computer disks are produced, one has to apply total probability theorem. E, F and G are partition events because they are exhaustive, mutually exclusive and non-negative events. So probabilities are given here as probability of E is equal to 0.6 and probability of F is equal to 0.4 and probability of G is equal to 0.25 and probability of X given is equal to 0.0025. Probability of X given F is equal to 0.006 and probability of X given G is equal to 0.005. So to find out the probability of X, we have to use the formula total probability. So find the probability of defective computer disk by using the theorem of total probability. Total probability theorem formulates for three events is given as probability of X is equal to probability of E into probability of X given E plus probability of F into probability of X given F plus probability of G into probability of X given G. So probability of X can be found out by putting the values. So the answer is coming out to be 0.00299. So the probability of produces defective computer disk is 0.299%. So it is very low. Now coming to the most important theorem, that is Bayes theorem, and this is the main topic here. Before that we discussed about the total probability theorem, that is requirement to understand the Bayes theorem. So Bayes theorem is considered as a method that is used to update the initial knowledge information using new information. So probability related to initial information is known as prior probabilities. The probability of initial known information after updating is known as posterior probabilities. Bayes theorem has wide application in every field of study like animal sciences, geology, environmental sciences, biosciences, etc. So the first we will discuss the mathematical formulation of Bayes theorem. Mathematical formulation of Bayes theorem is based on the basic partition of sample space and theorem of total probability. Conditional probability is a very useful concept in Bayes theorem. We have E1, E2, En are mutually exclusive, exhaustive and non-negative events for an arbitrary A reverse probability for the initial event given A is given as probability of Ej given A, which is equal to probability of Ej into probability of A given Ej, divided by summation is over J, where J vary from 1 to n, and probability of Ej into probability of A given Ej. And probability of Ej given A can be written as probability of Ej and into probability of A given Ej. So by using the theorem of total probability, you can write down the probability of summation over J is equal to 1 to n, probability of Ej into probability of A given Ej as probability of A. So note that probability of E1 into probability of E1, probability of E2, probability of En are the prior probabilities. That is, these events exist before calculating the new probabilities. These probabilities are available at the initial stage. So probability of Ej given A with J vary from 1 to n are the posterior probabilities, that is initial probability of determining the new after the new information added. We need to find out or determine these probabilities values. So these are the steps that we have to follow to find out the base probability or posterior probability. For updating the prior probability into posterior probability using new information, steps are: first, the basic information available. Now new information are determined. Third step is application of the Bayes theorem, and fourth is determine updated basic information. So these four steps are applied to solve any reverse probability for any given probabilities. According to four steps, basic information is already available in the data as the happening of partition events of any experiment. Second, one has identified the new information based on the prior information. These two information are used in Bayes formula to determine posterior probabilities. Posterior probabilities are the updated version of the basic information under given circumstances of new information. Now we have an example here to apply Bayes theorem. A person speaks truth 3 out of 6 times. A dice is tossed. He reports that 5 number appeared while tossing the dice. What is the chance that actually there was 5? So let us consider the following events. E1 represents the person speaks the truth. E2 events represent the person tell a lie. Third, event A that reports 5. Probability of simple events and conditional events are given as probability of E1 is equal to 3 by 6. Probability of A given E1 is equal to 1 by 6, and probability of E2, which is equal to 3 by 6, and probability of A given E2 is equal to 5 by 6. So the probability of actually having 5 on dice is given by Bayes theorem, that is the person speaks the truth given that 5 appears while tossing the dice. So probability of E1 given A is equal to probability of E1 into probability of A given E1 divided by probability of A, where probability of A is equal to probability of E1 into probability of A given E1 plus probability of E2 into probability of A given E2. So probability of A is coming out to be 0.5 after putting the value. So probability of E1 given E is solved as 0.5. So probability of actually having 5 on a dice is 0.5. So we have applied the concept here that we already discussed in the theory part. Now we have another example. The punctuality of buses has been investigated by considering a number of bus journey. In the random sample, so we have 40% buses have a destination of Chandigarh, 60% buses have destination of Patiala, and 20% buses have destination of Jalandhar. The probability of arriving at fixed time in Chandigarh, Patiala and Jalandhar are 30%, 50%, 70% respectively. If a fixed time bus is selected at random under consideration, what is the probability that it has a destination of Jalandhar? So let us consider the following events, where event E1 denotes the bus's destination is of Chandigarh, and second event represents destination of Patiala, and third the buses has destination of Jalandhar. So A represents the buses arriving at a fixed time. Probability of events are given by for that we require some prior probabilities. These are given as probability of E1 is equal to 0.4, probability of E2 is given as 0.6, and probability of E3 is given as 0.2. So probabilities of new information is given as probability of A given E1 is equal to 0.3, and probability of A given E2 is equal to 0.5, and probability of A given E3 is equal to 0.7. Now the probability of arriving bus at a fixed time is given by the new information, that is we have to find out the probability of A. By using the concept of total probability, we can find out the value probability A, and it is coming out to be 0.56. Now the probability of bus destination of Jalandhar, given that the bus has arrived at a fixed time, so we have to apply the Bayes theorem. So the formula for the Bayes theorem is probability of E3 given A, which is equal to probability of E3 into probability of A given E3 divided by probability of A. So probability of E3 given A, which is coming out to be, after putting the value that we already have given in the question, so 0.25. The probability of bus destination is Jalandhar, given that bus has arrived at fixed time is 0.25, that is posterior probability. So we have another question here. A student is answering a question in a competitive exam on multiple choices test. The student either know the answer or guesses. Let half be the probability that student knows the answer and half be the probability that student guesses the answer. Let us consider that the guessed answer will be correct with 0.25 probability, where there are 4 choices to choose an answer. What is the probability that student knows the answer to a question given that student answered it correctly? So to solve this type of problem, we have to consider the following events. These events are, first we consider E1, that represents the student knows the answer correctly. E2 represents student guesses the correct answer. A represents student get correct answer. Probability of simple events and conditional events are given as prior probabilities. So probability of E1 is equal to 0.5 and probability of E2 is equal to 0.5. So new information probabilities, we have probability of A given E1, which is equal to 1, and probability of A given E2 is equal to 0.25, because we already have the information that if the student know the answer, then the probability of getting correct answer, given that the student know the answer is definitely 1, and if student does not have any do not know the answer and guesses the answer, then the probability of getting the correct answer is 0.25. The probability that student gets the correct answer by using theorem of total probability. The probability that student know the correct answer given that student gives correct answer by using Bayes theorem. So for that we have probability of A, which can be written as probability of E1 into probability of A given E1 plus probability of E2 into probability of A given E2 by using total probability theorem. So probability of A can be found here 0.625, and probability of E1 given A by using the Bayes theorem, probability of E1 into probability of A given E1 divided by probability of A. So the final answer is coming out to be probability of E1 given A. So after putting the value is 0.8. So now we have another example here. The manufacturer company produces a certain type of products by 4 types of machines. The respective daily production figures are given here as, on the left hand side of the table we have machines, and on the right hand side we have daily production in thousands. So we have figures 30, 59, 45, 26 available with us. From the past experience, machine A shows 2% defective products, machine B shows 5%, machine C shows 1.7%, and machine D shows 3.5% defective products. A product is selected at random from the day's production of the machine and found is defective. What is the probability that defective products come from the machine A, machine B, machine C, and machine D? So let us define the following events. We have the events defined as E1, E2, E3, E4. E1 represents the product produced by machine A, and E2 events represents the product produced by machine B, E3 the item produced by machine C, and E4 the item produced by machine D respectively. And A represents the event that product is defective. So probability of simple events and conditional events are given as, we have prior events as E1, E2, E3, E4, and probability of E1 is given here as 0.1875, and probability of E2 is given as 0.36875, and probability of E3 is 0.28125, and probability of E4 is 0.1625. So probability for new information is given here as probability of A given E1 is coming out to 0.02, probability of A given E2 is 0.05, and probability of A given E3 is 0.017, and probability of A given E4 is 0.035. So the probability of the product is defective, and by using the concept of total probability, we find out the probability of A, which is probability of A is equal to probability of E1 into probability of A given E1 plus probability of E2 into probability of A given E2 plus probability of E3 into probability of A given E3 plus probability of E4 into probability of A given E4. So probability of A is coming out to, by putting these values, we will get the final answer as 0.033. The probability of defective products come from machine A given that product is defective. So after using the Bayes theorem and putting the value here, we will get the probability of E1 given A, which is equal to 0.114. Similarly, the probability of the defective item come from the machine B given that the product is defective, which is probability of E2 given A is equal to probability of E2 into probability of A given E2 divided by probability of A, and probability of E2 given A, which is equal to 0.36875 and into 0.05 divided by 0.033, and the final answer is coming down to be 0.56. Now also the probability of the defective product comes from machine C given that the product is defective, which is probability of E3 given A is equal to probability of E3, probability of A given E3 divided by probability of A, which is coming up to be 0.144. So probability of defective product come from machine D given that the product is defective. The formula is same. So probability of E4 given A, after putting the value in the formula, we will get the final answer as 0.172. Now from the table you can see that we have prior probabilities, conditional probabilities and posterior probabilities is given here in the form of table. At the end, I would like to conclude this module by saying that to understand the concept of Bayes theorem, we first have to consider what is total probability, and in this module I first explain the total probability theorem and some examples that how to apply total probability theorem in practical life. After that, we discuss Bayes theorem, and to understand the Bayes theorem in very easy manner, I represented many examples and questions for you to understand the concept in very easy manner. Hope you enjoy it. Thank you.